Okay, we're continuing the shiurim in Daas Tevunos, nishmas, Daniella Sheina, Yehoshua Falik, and I'm learning the Sefer here with a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, David Goodwin, and he's helping me here with the filming, and I'm learning, so if I'm looking off to the side, that's who I'm speaking to over here. Okay, we're going to continue with Yud Beis. I'm not going to review each time because you'll have the video previously, you could just see it again. So we're just going to continue with the Seichel addressing the neshama's points of the aspects of emunah that the neshama has a hard time with. Right, one of the points that the neshama made was, what does Hashem want from all this? What's the point of all this? Where it's all heading? Where is it? What's it about? So the Seichel says, well, first we have to understand what is a person? What is a man? What is the inyan mitzius ha'adam? And what is our avoda? What are we here to do? Yeah, that's what we have to understand. Yud Gimel, Amar Neshama. Yes, definitely, this is something that requires a great amount of study. To really properly understand it. Yudalid, Amar Seichel, the Seichel responds. So he says this is the first fundamental point upon which the whole building stands. I have to appreciate, we're going to see things like this 7 or so times where he's going to say, well, in order to understand this is predicated on a much bigger rule. This is like one of the first of them, but it's even though he says this is everything builds on this, but we're going to see that there's things that this is built upon as well. So the fundamental pillar, so he's saying, if you want to sum up what the point is for man to complete himself. Hashem's will was for man to complete himself, and everything that was created for man's sake. Yeah, that's called a nivra b'shvilo. And this itself, this completion will itself be his merit and his reward. His zechus, like something he earned, and the reward that he gets. What does this mean? Zechuso, his merit, l'fi shenimtza shuhu misasek v'yagei lahasik hashleimus hazeh, uchashiyasigehu yiyanene rak miyagia kapov v'chelko mikol amalo. Because when he gets it, it's his chus, it's in his merit because he earned it. It's something that he through his toiling and through his hard work, he was able to reach this. And at the same time, it's his reward also. It's also the schar, sh'arei sof sof hu yiyeh hamushlam, because now that he achieved this shleimus, again, the idea, he said, is to mashlim es atzmo, to fulfill myself and for everything around me, everything. So, but that itself is the schar, because when the person reaches that state of shleimus, yiyeh misanig betuvel netzach netzachim, that state of shleimus itself is the eternal joy. Now, I'm not going to get into explaining this paragraph because more or less in a nutshell, this is like almost the DNA of the whole Sefer. So it's going to unravel as we continue. But the basic concepts of what he's saying over here is that we're here for a reason, we're here for a purpose. That purpose is to fill in something, fill in ourselves, which we don't know what that means yet. He's going to spend a long time explaining it. Yeah, and when we fill this in, it's going to be two things at the same time. Simultaneously, it's going to be something that we earned, like that we earned to. It didn't come this way. It didn't come to us for free. We earned this place of shleimus that we got to. We pushed ourselves to get there, and that itself is going to be the reward, because in a state of shleimus, that's an elevated state. Okay, but again, all this will be explained. Tesvav, Amar Neshama. So the neshama responds. This is an idea, a concept that has many, many different corners to it to explore. So I'm very interested, I'm listening carefully to hear what are you going to build upon this foundation. Because then I'll understand retroactively what you're really talking about over here. In other words, you're saying a very big idea, but I don't know what it means. What is shleimus? What is lack? What is merit? What is reward? What do these concepts have to do with anything? He just threw out the Seichel threw out a whole bunch of ideas which he didn't introduce yet. So we're going to see again. He's going to have to introduce what all of these ideas mean. But anyway, I want to ask one question. Even before we get into all of these details, is there a reason why the divine will wanted such a thing? In other words, you said in a Sefer, you said it was the will of Hashem. It was the desire of that ultimate desire, meaning God, to want man to fill in this place. So the neshama said, there's many things here we need to understand about what you said. It's not clear what you said, but before you even get there, is there any reason why he did this? Like why put a person in that? What was the point? Tezayin Amar Asecha. Hatam Pashut. The reason is straightforward. It's simple. But it's dependent on the answer to yet another question. Okay, so we've already now taken 2 steps back from this Yesod Gadol. But again, this is how the Ramchal, the beauty of the Sefer is that it's in a dialogue. So you just have to follow with the conversation. So let's follow where it's going. There's another question that we have to address in order to get here. Why did he want to do this at all? Right? In other words, I was already speaking about, meaning the Seichel was already speaking about, after the fact that there's a creature, the point is for him to fill in the lack. Right? You're asking why did he want that? I'm asking, well, why did he want to have a creature to begin with? Okay, this is really getting back to almost the very basics. Yud Zayin, Amra Nashama, Tashiv Ata Lach Vali Milsa Deshav L'Tarvayo. Okay, very good. So you're right. This is pertinent to both of us. So, answer my question, your question together, and we'll hear it out. Okay, so Yudches, Amra Asich. Okay, so he starts with a few words which are very important to have a little bit of a perspective on, and he says as follows: Mashenucha lahasig be'inyan zeh hu. That we are able to grasp about this concept is the following. And now he's going to explain to us. But we just have to understand what these words are. That we can grasp about this topic is the following. What he means by this is that everything that we're talking about in this whole Sefer, everything that we're talking about anytime we're talking about Hashem and His midos and why, quote unquote, Hashem does things, we're not talking about Hashem Himself. We're not talking about the infinite intellect and the infinite impossible to grasp Hashem Himself. We're talking only about the story Hashem wants us to know about Him in order to do what we're here to do. Right? All that we know about Hashem and Yetzias Mitzrayim and Matan Torah and all these things are only the aspects of Hashem that He's allowing us to understand for the purposes that we're here for. But the real Hashem and the real Cheshbonos, it's impossible for a person to possibly grasp. So what he's telling us here is this whole book, this whole Sefer is a mashal. This whole Sefer is a metaphor that is not real and it's not literal. We're going to talk now about Hashem being good, and therefore that quote unquote compelled him to do certain things. That there's no question that it's not literal and it's impossible to talk about God this way. But this is the start of what Hashem wants us to understand about how and why He runs the world. But there's going to be a point at which we can't ask, well, okay, but why that? Okay, and we'll see when we're going to hit that right away. Okay. What we can understand about this idea, again, we're talking about why Hashem did what He did. Yeah. Now, God is the ultimate perfect goodness, for sure. However, it is the way of something good to bestow that good upon others. Now, already those words are impossible to say about Hashem. Chok hatov lehitiv. What he's saying is, if you think about a nice person, a good person, so that good person is not selfish with their goodness, they share it, right? It's the chok of a tov, it's the way of someone who has good is lehitiv, to share that good. If a person had a lot of goodness to them, but they didn't share that goodness, that itself would be a lack in that person's goodness, right? The fact that they're not sharing, right? But now he's applying that mashal to Hashem, right? Chok hatov lehitiv. So again, it's not true. We can't say these words really about Hashem. But again, what we can understand, meaning what Hashem wants us to understand, is that there's this dynamic that exists, that God is the ultimate perfect goodness, and therefore, in order, quote unquote, in order to actualize His own goodness, there was a quote unquote need to share. Chok hatov lehitiv. It is the way of something that is good to share that good. And that's why he made creations, in order to have an entity with which to share goodness. In order to be able to provide goodness to them. Because if there is no recipient, then there's no bestowing of good, and if there's no bestowing of good, that itself is ki'ilu kavayachal, as if a lack for Hashem, and therefore there has to be someone to bestow good to. Okay, we'll continue here.